You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, a man from Oklahoma is sentenced for his role in 2 separate homicides involving a prison gang.
And after a 3-year hiatus due to renovations, MSSU finally hosted its first event in the Taylor Auditorium.
Plus, we've got breezy and cold conditions across the 4 states this morning. It's going to stay that way through today. We're also watching the chances of wintry precipitation. We'll break it all down coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. An Oklahoma man is sentenced on Wednesday for his role in 2 separate homicides involving a prison gang. Matthew Armstrong pleaded guilty in 2021 to several charges related to the murders of Scotty Candler and Nicole Owl. A judge sentenced him to life in prison in the 2017 murder and kidnapping of Owl. He was also given 10 years in prison for his role in the 2015 murder of Candler. During both cases, Armstrong was involved in the smuggling of methamphetamine and other contraband for the Indian Brotherhood into various prisons. You can read more about the cases on our website on KOAMnewsnow.com. The Oklahoma Attorney General says the state's current schedule of executing a death row inmate roughly every 30 days is placing too much of a burden on prison staff and should be slowed down. The AG wrote in a motion filed on Wednesday with the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals. Attorney General Ginter Drummond, who witnessed last week's execution of Scott Eisenberg, asked the court to set the executions 60 days apart rather than the current pace of 30 days apart. The DOC said in a statement it appreciates Drummond's request and his support for the agency. Well, newly elected Missouri Congressman Eric Burleson visited the KCU Joplin campus on Wednesday. Burleson, who represents Missouri's 7th Congressional District, toured the facility and the College of Dental Medicine, which is scheduled to open in June. After a 3-year hiatus due to renovations, Missouri Southern will host the first event in Taylor Performing Arts Center next week. The Taylor Performing Arts Center was constructed in 1975, and for 50 years it served as the largest event space in the region. But with time, things start to wear out.
So certainly after 50 plus years, there were some structural issues that we were able to address, but mainly aesthetic reasons. You see new seats, new carpeting and tile. There'll be new curtains on the way. So it was a chance to refresh a facility that means a great deal to the university and to the community.
In 2021, Missouri lawmakers assigned $2.5 million to the university to pay for the repairs. A Carthage teacher received a big honor on Wednesday. Christina Landberg is one of 12 educators to join Scholastic's inaugural 2022 to 2023 Teacher Fellow cohort. She teaches 4th grade at the Carthage Intermediate Center. The cohort of educators get the chance to collaborate with Scholastic Education's research product, research, and publishing teams.
So I specifically will be reviewing those book proposals for Scholastic and giving my opinion on if I think they would be beneficial to other classroom teachers. And then we also have done a few book covers, which is kind of fun to do.
The program will run through July. Landberg will complete a project that will be showcased at a summit in Scholastic's New York City headquarters at the end of the program.
We've got cold and breezy conditions out there this morning. We're sitting at 33 in Joplin, feel like 21 at west-southwest breeze at 22, gusting upwards of 33, and it's going to stay that way as we go through today. Temperatures across the region, 31 in Iola, 33 in Parsons, 34 Chetopa, Miami, 33 Neosho, Carthage, Lamar, and Nevada. And you factor in the breeze that we're dealing with, feels like 20 Iola, Yates Center, 23 Columbus, 24 Miami, 21 Neosho, and feels like 20 in Carthage and Lamar. As we go through today, we're looking at highs pushing into the upper 30s and lower 40s, so not a ton of warming going on today. Be partly to mostly cloudy, west breeze gusting 30 to 35 miles an hour throughout the day. And then later this evening, say after about 5, 6 o'clock, the winds will calm down. We'll get pretty cold tonight, down to 29 for our low, and we'll be partly cloudy, but the winds will stop what they're doing today. 46 tomorrow, partly cloudy, watching rain transitioning into a wintry mix and light snow Saturday evening, maybe some light snow Sunday morning, and then additional light snow possible Monday night into Tuesday. So we're keeping an eye on both of those systems for you as they roll through. And then On top of that, look at next week. Temperatures don't get out of the upper 30s.
Up next, Chef Anthony steps back into his test kitchen to help out that goal of a new year, new you, with a goal to eat healthier.
And later, from competing in Miss America and becoming sisters that way to becoming sisters-in-law. We're going to meet two girls who bonded during the Miss America pageant who are now set to become sisters through marriage. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Welcome back. We've got Chef Anthony Fisher in studio this morning, teaching us how to make a delicious and healthy salad. Earlier this morning, we made a citrus vinaigrette. If you'd like to see that, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com and check out the recipe for that. Believe me, it's good. Can't wait to try it on the salad. So now we're going to put a salad together.
Yes, and what I have here is some romaine, and what I'm doing is just walking around it on two sides, giving about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch wide cuts into the lettuce.
Okay.
So that as I cut it down.
Don't cut yourself. We were joking about that.
Cut it down, it becomes bite-sized pieces. So we're going to throw it right here into that colander so that we can look at our pieces and make sure that we're about the right size.
Okay.
Because you want to be able to put more than one piece. You ever get that salad and has this one long stringy piece that runs off of it?
Right.
That cutting it like that will help
That'll
reduce
avoid
that.
it, yeah.
So I'm just giving it a little toss, get a little air in there so it fluffs back up, and I have good pieces. I don't have anything way too big. So,
Now, the romaine lettuce is what came in your keto-friendly
Yes.
box from Martinez Produce, and I'm sure that one is also in this week's vegetable box as
Oh,
well.
yes.
They have a variety of different options you can pick from. You can do fruit, you can do combo, and then
Oh yeah, their stuff is great. A lot of grocery stores and restaurants rely on them for their supply. So going to Martinez ahead of time, ordering one of those boxes, you get the produce fresher than you would get it before it hits the grocery stores.
that's awesome. Yeah.
So, and I'm going to add a little bit, I'm going to keep these thin, because not everybody likes onion in their salad. And I'm just going to kind of shave up my vegetables a little bit here, figure out which ones I want to put into my salad, but I want a little bit of color, so I'm adding some onions for some crunch. I'm going to take a big piece off of this beautiful red bell pepper here. And I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to give myself nice thin pieces. But remember, you want everything to fit on your fork when you make a salad. So when you're cutting down your vegetables and stuff, you need to make sure that you don't cut them too big.
Right. That
So
might be a little long.
Well, I'm going to cut them in half once I get my strips. And just like this.
And if you cut them too wide, then you're going to end up with only one vegetable in
Exactly.
each bite.
And then I'll cut them in half like that so I can spread them right across my plate. And let's try some kiwi.
Ooh.
So a lot of people like their kiwi in different ways. I'm not a big fan of leaving the skin on my kiwi. So I take a paring knife and just kind of peel them a little bit. But I also want a little bit of texture and I want a little bit of difference in my salad. So I'm going to leave a little piece.
Aren't there a lot of nutrients in the skin though?
There are. To me, it's more of a texture issue than anything else.
They're fuzzy.
And I'm going to leave a little bit of the skin, peel a little bit of the skin off, and then when I go to cut it or go to slice it, I have that contrast of textures for my salad.
And I like the skin, so I wouldn't mind that at all.
There we go, some kiwi to go in our salad. Let's do one more slice of kiwi.
Sounds good.
And then what else should we put in there this morning? How about some cucumbers?
Okay.
And just keeping it in mind, when you do something like this, you just use what you want to use. If you're going to eat a salad every day, and take it to work, store your components separate, mix them when you get to work. So right before you eat, you want to mix them up.
Why do you recommend, so it doesn't get soggy? Or?
Yeah, so it doesn't get soggy. Definitely don't put your dressing in there. And if you're trying to eat healthy, then don't use things like ranch or honey mustard, things of that sort, of course. But also don't add all that stuff to your salad before you go. But they say, what about fat-free ranch? Well, what is ranch made from? Buttermilk and mayonnaise and some seasonings. So fat and fat with some seasonings, it's still fat. Really can't
Nothing free about that.
change anything about that. You still end up with the same salad. So, and I'm gonna pull one beautiful tomato off of here. And these tomatoes look absolutely wonderful. So, and I'm gonna stick with our slice theme. And I'm gonna keep everything nice and thin so that nothing is overpowering. Because we want that beautiful dressing to show through. Just like that.
Before we put everything together, let's go ahead and go to break, and then
Okay.
we will make our presentation of our salad when we return. We'll be right back. All right, we're eating healthy this morning with Chef Anthony in the Chef Anthony Test Kitchen, and we've started cutting the produce for our salad.
Yes. So we have our lettuce here, and we're going to start building things up. So we're looking for contrasting colors is one of our big things. So let's start with the brightest color we have, our sliced red peppers. And we'll just drop them on.
And one more thing we did during the break, we decided to cut a little of the pineapple as well.
Yes. Add a little bit of texture from the pineapple.
Plus a little yellow for the salad too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it'll look good. And this is a composed salad, so you want to build this salad with the colors in mind and lay everything in there. So now I want to lay in some cucumbers, and I'm going to actually just kind of place them in. And I always think of it as making a pizza.
Okay.
So I start on the outside and work my way in, and I'm going to add a little bit of onion. Now I cut these onions really thin, so I don't have to worry about that larger piece. It's going to go very nicely.
How pretty.
I actually put that one on the wrong way.
Now, if you were adding meat to your salad, would you put that
I would put that
towards the bottom or towards the top? Or
Well,
in the middle, or?
I would, if I was doing like grilled chicken, I would lay the grilled chicken across the top right at the very end. And then if it was for my guests or I was putting this on a meal, they could add it as they wanted or pull from it as they wanted. Or you can just completely go to one of the sides and lay it across the side over here. It'll give you a nice presentation on it.
Right.
So, and then a little bit of tomatoes. I mean, you don't have to overload your salad because the idea for this is to eat healthy. So put what you want on your salad, the things that you like, the parts that you like on your salad. And then a little bit of kiwi.
I love tomatoes, but it, you know, for presentation purposes, it like always bothers me when you get to the seedy parts because they just kind of fall apart.
Well, if you get a good tomato, I've even taken the seeds completely out of it and left just the meat of the tomato on there.
I mean, that part tastes good. It just doesn't lay right.
Exactly, and I'll use just the outside meat of it just so I have that beautiful presentation level on it. Now I have a little bit of pineapple, and I'm going to lay those on there, but I don't want to overpower it, so I'm only going to use a little bit.
There you go.
Just like so. And then I'm going to take my salad dressing.
Remember we made the citrus vinaigrette?
Yes.
What were real quickly, there wasn't a lot of ingredients in it.
It's Dijon mustard, honey, apple cider vinegar, orange juice, and extra virgin olive oil.
That's right. And you did your acids first.
Yes. And then
And if you want to see the specific measurements for each one, again, go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll have those on there for you.
2 tablespoons of everything except for Dijon mustard, which is 1 teaspoon.
And if you had to use yellow mustard, then
Cut that in half.
yeah. See, I pay attention.
Yeah, here we go. We have our salad right there, but one of the things that I like to do for my salad is to kick it just a little bit. So I use just a little bit of black pepper.
Okay.
It doesn't take much. And you have a beautiful, healthier salad alternative.
That is beautiful. Try to tilt it just enough, but not lose it. That is gorgeous. All right.
Now something like that with all the fruit and everything else on it is going to give you a good meal for the evening. So you're going to eat a little bit stronger. It's going to give you a little bit more fuel to kind of end your day. But a lot of people, they go, well, lunch, but think about it. Lunch is the middle of the day. You're going to have to fuel yourself through dinner. So
Can I
eat
get
a
a
little
piece
bit
of everything
stronger
in
on
there?
your lunch.
I got a piece of everything, I think.
I think so.
Okay, this is a big bite. I'm gonna challenge myself with it. Well, I'm trying this. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing in class?
So my baking and pastry class started pies, and they're making assorted fruit pies one of my groups did an apple pie with antioxidant berries. And they do a cooked fruit pie method to kind of create something new, and they make their crust from scratch.
That's good.
So they're working on that. This evening and tomorrow, my students will be cooking for the Bill Hansen basketball tournament. So if you're going to the tournament, make sure that you come out and see us and get some of our wonderful buffet. Tonight is a picnic-themed buffet, so hamburgers, hot dogs, baked beans, potato salad, chips, and tomorrow's taco bar.
That sounds amazing.
So we're getting excited.
So we talked about possibly doing some sandwich varieties next week.
We're going to keep with the lunch theme and talk about sandwiches next week. We're going to talk about breads and how to build sandwiches, and we're going to talk about the healthy alternative for Taco Tuesday.
Oh, there you go. Sounds like a plan. All right, this is delicious. Make sure you go to our website. Try out, I mean, you don't have to have a boring old salad. You can put lots of variety into it like this, and the colors are amazing.
Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
All right, that vinaigrette is good. Spot on.
Oh, yes.
I think I got a lot of pepper in my throat there when I was eating it, though. All right, we will be right back. We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Edward Broglio. Private First Class Broglio served in the Army from 1943 to 1946. During his time in the Army, he helped develop chemicals to treat uniforms against mustard gas. Native of Joplin, Missouri, we thank you, today's four-state hero, Edward Broglio.
Well, it may sound like a storyline from a Hallmark movie or a romance novel.
But the story you're about to hear is a real-life love story. It may be more of a modern-day fairy tale, and this fairy tale is nothing but good news. Jody Kursman explains.
These photos are reminders of the moment Raina Bergstrom Aschheim and Abigail Hayes became friends. They were competing for the Miss America title. Raina was Miss North Dakota, Abigail, Miss Oregon.
Immediately I was like, I like this girl. I want to be her friend.
Raina was one of my first very genuine friends.
In December 2021, Raina's brother Luke was in the audience at the Miss America competition, seated next to Abigail's aunt.
And she was a super lovely lady.
I didn't make top 10, but Abigail did. So right away, I was cut. So Luke is immediately cheering for Abigail.
A few days after the competition, Luke reached out to Abigail.
I received a message from Luke Berge on Instagram.
The rest, as they say, is history. They got to know each other over text and FaceTime, and after a few months, finally met in person. For Abigail, it was love at first sight.
I literally knew, I was like, yeah, I'm going to marry him one day.
They've attended 2 weddings together, Abigail's sister's and Raina's.
I also owe the both of you a large amount of thanks.
Now they can't wait for the next wedding on their schedule.
I think it's ours.
Raina has been the couple's biggest cheerleader. She shared her excitement in a Facebook post.
I said, I'm gaining another sister. At Miss America orientation last fall, they said that many of us would one day attend or perhaps even be in each other's weddings. Little did I know that in 1 year, I'd literally be gaining another forever sister. God truly is the master of crafting the most incredible stories. It's like one of those fairy tale things that doesn't seem to happen in real life.
But this fairy tale is very real. And later this year, Raina and Abigail will not only be Miss America sisters, but also sisters-in-law.
Oh, that's a sweet story.
It is. Well, Luke and Abigail plan to marry on July 8th.
And then Abigail will head to law school and Luke to medical school.
It's an incredible story. We've got a lot more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back. Star running back at Grove High School, and he was recently named the Player of the Year for the state of Oklahoma by Gatorade. But before picking up a ball, Crawford experienced a miracle. Born in Ghana, Crawford was sold into child slavery and then rescued by the Touch a Life Foundation at 3 years old. Loving family adopted Crawford and nourished him to become the football star he is today.
It really helps you with the battles that you go through in life because football, you could do something really bad one play and then the next play you go score a touchdown. It changes your mood completely.
Crawford plans to attend the University of Arkansas this summer. Missouri Southern's TV station is getting a new facelift thanks to a new state grant. The communication department says the nonprofit TV station KGCS TV received an up to $1.5 million matching grant from the state to upgrade studio spaces and labs. The grant will go towards building a full state-of-the-art green screen studio, new furnishings, and a separate LED wall to provide virtual reality production opportunities. The station provides hands-on training opportunities for students in the department. And the Carthage School Board is putting a bond issue to voters on the April ballot. The district is asking for $18 million by extending current levies for 2 years to the year 2040. That money would go toward funding a performing arts center and a baseball field.
I think you have a lot of support both ways. I mean, that's the part of the democratic process, is you have people who do not approve or agree. Our goal is to make certain people act civil, use social media positively, and not try to be Republican versus Democrat nationwide. That's not what we want here.
Voters rejected a school bond proposal back in August. Well, Carthage teacher received a big honor on Wednesday. Christina Landberg is one of 12 educators to join Scholastic's inaugural 2022-23 Teacher Fellow cohort. She teaches 4th grade at the Carthage Intermediate Center. The cohort of educators get the chance to collaborate with Scholastic Education's research and publishing teams.
One of the top 12 in the nation to be part of the Scholastic Teachers Fellows program. It's a great opportunity not only for myself, but it's also a great opportunity for our school district and my students.
The program will run through July. Landberg will complete a project that will be showcased at a summit in Scholastic's New York City headquarters at the end of the program. Well, after a 3-year hiatus due to renovations, Missouri Southern will host the first event in the Taylor Performing Arts Center next week. KOAM's Shagun Bomadelli has more.
The Taylor Performing Arts Center in Missouri Southern State University was constructed in 1975, and for 50 years it served as the largest event space in the region. But as with time, things start to wear out.
So certainly after 50 plus years, there were some structural issues that we were able to address, but mainly aesthetic reasons. You see new seats, new carpeting and tile. There'll be new curtains on the way. So it was a chance to refresh a facility that means a great deal to the university and to the community.
Faculty members had a first look.
It was great to have the faculty and staff in here today. Many of them sat in the seats and commented on how comfortable they were. Most of those longtime faculty and staff would have been in the old seats, which were not as comfortable. So we feel like all of the changes really helped to enhance an already great facility.
I'm standing in the entrance of the newly renovated Taylor Theater, where, if you can see behind me, there are new chairs on new carpets. I spoke to a professor of music who tells me that in previous years, the departments and students had to go out to rent and borrow buildings for their performances, and he is excited that that wouldn't be the case anymore.
For example, when we did Mamma Mia, we had to rent out Joplin High School, and that was an enormous amount of set to move into that space, because we only had just a short time, and I can remember that being quite stressful.
The performance arts students are happy to see the changes.
I think it gives us, a place to be on our own campus that is a nice place to perform, and will make it easier for us, but I certainly think that the students are very excited about it.
Reporting in Joplin, Shagun Bomadelli, KOAM News.
In 2021, Missouri lawmakers allocated $2.5 million to the university to fund the repairs.
Cold and breezy today. Westerly winds gusting 30 to 35 miles an hour through the day. Will be partly to mostly cloudy. Highs in the upper 30s and lower 40s. Winds calm down tonight. We drop back down to a cold but seasonable temperature of 29 degrees under partly cloudy skies. We're all right tomorrow. Partly cloudy, 46. Then we're watching rain transitioning to a wintry mix and maybe some light snow Saturday night. Early morning snow on Sunday, and then additional snow chances Monday night into Tuesday. And we'll watch both those systems for you, of course, and we'll count on slippery roads. And outside of that, once we get into next week, temperatures don't get out of the upper 30s. We have more of the KOAM Morning News right after this. President Biden will get a closer look at the damage in central and northern California, where multiple storm systems have caused massive flooding and hundreds of landslides. Well, California begins to dry out this week. Other parts of the country now face severe weather. Snow is blanketing the plains and Midwest, while much of the South braces for possible tornadoes. Jared Hill reports.
President Biden is set to travel to California today to visit areas that have been devastated by extreme weather that's been nearly non-stop since the new year. It's brought widespread flooding, toppled trees, and triggered hundreds of landslides.
The president will meet with first responders, state and local officials, and communities impacted by the devastation, survey recovery efforts, and assess what additional federal support is needed.
Intense weather is now moving east. Denver is digging out from the biggest January snowstorm in more than 3 decades. It dropped about a foot of snow the last couple of days. More than 1,000 flights at Denver International Airport have been delayed or canceled, according to FlightAware.
I don't think I'll make it. You know, we've been over kind of looking at hotels and just kind of waiting to see what the waiting game will probably be.
Colorado's Interstate 70 was temporarily shut down in both directions after a pileup involving several semi-trucks and passenger vehicles.
It hit the next one.
The winter storm has also moved into parts of the Midwest, dumping snow in nearby Nebraska, Iowa, and Kansas.
We definitely need it. It's been a little dry, so I mean it's welcomed, but it's a little cold.
In Arkansas, strong storms snapped power lines and brought down trees. The same system is set to usher in a cold front to the northeast, bringing with it the potential for rain, snow, and ice. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Overnight, the president amended his disaster declaration for California, increasing the amount of federal assistance for the winter storms, flooding, and mudslides that have affected the state since late December. Federal government will now cover 100% of debris removal and emergency protective measures for 60 days. Now, here across our area, we are thankfully not dealing with anything to that extreme, but we are cold, we are breezy, it is going to stay cold, and we are watching the possibility of some wintry weather. We're going to break down your full forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Rangeline. You can see we're looking pretty good. Roads are dry, but the skies are cloudy. Same situation at 7th and Rangeline as well. Just completely cloudy skies out there. We're at 33 in Joplin, feeling like 21 with a west-southwest breeze at 22, gusting to 33 out there. Across the region, temperatures look like this. They are cold. 31 Iola, 34 Chanute, Chautauqua, Miami, and Neosho, 33 Carthage, and 32 in Lamar. And you factor in this gusty wind we're dealing with. Feels like 20 in Iola, 24 Columbus, 25 Miami, and feels like 21 in Neosho and Carthage this morning. Taking a look at what we can expect today. We're looking at highs pushing the upper 30s, maybe some of us into the lower 40s. Be partly to mostly cloudy. We're also going to be dealing with a west wind blowing about 15 to 20 with gusts from 30 to 35 miles an hour. However, as we head into tonight, the wind will calm down. We're going to drop down to a cold but seasonable 29 for our overnight low with those partly cloudy skies. So as mentioned, as we head into this evening, the winds will eventually start to die down, and as we get into the overnight hours, it's a lot calmer than what it is right now, and it will stay that way for a while. But today is a trash can knocked over kind of day, so make sure it is secure. And coming up in the next few days, we're watching a couple of systems. Now, as we go through tomorrow, we're not too bad, but as we head into Saturday afternoon and evening, we have rain, and as temperatures drop, we start to see it transition to a wintry mix and potentially some light snow as we head into Sunday morning. And then that clears out of here, and by the time we get to Monday evening, we're going to look at rain again. And then as temperatures drop, that transitions to a wintry mix, maybe some light snow that holds on into Tuesday for us. So let's take a look at that 7-day forecast now, and we can see where those changes take place. Again, tomorrow, not bad. Partly cloudy and 46. 46 to start the day Saturday. Temperatures drop back down to 34. We're still watching these two systems. We'll have good accumulation totals for you in the next couple of days. Not looking at this time at a major winter storm, just some opportunities for snow that can make things slick and nasty out there. there. And then as we head into next week, we don't get out of the upper 30s for several days, and we've got the snow chances again Monday night into Tuesday. Cold on Wednesday, then we try to return to seasonable and normal temperatures by Thursday and Friday next week, back into the 40s, before we get knocked down again by next Saturday, down to 33 for a high temperature. So winter kicked in last night officially, became back, I should say. It officially started last month. We all know that. But winter kicked in again last night. It has returned, and it is returning with a vengeance as we are going to be cold and very wintry over the next several days. That's a check of your forecast. Now, here's Tanya Bach with a check of Consumer Watch.
All right, well, NASA and Boeing are joining forces to create a greener commercial flight technology. Both companies will work together on building the Sustainable Flight Demonstrator project. The purpose of the flight demonstrator is to test and fly an emission-reducing single-aisle aircraft that will eventually lead to fuel-efficient commercial airliners in the next decade. The first test flight of this experimental aircraft is set to take place in 2028. Up to 30% of fuel consumption and emissions are expected to be reduced in the new single-aisle aircraft. The NASA administrator said that the ultimate goal is for the technology to serve about 50% of the commercial market through short to medium-haul commercial airliners. Retail sales in the U.S. continue to decline in December. Wednesday's report by the Commerce Department shows retail sales fell just over 1% from the previous month amid continued high inflation. It marks the largest monthly retail sales decline since December of 2021. It's also more than economists were expecting. According to financial data firm Refinitiv, economists thought we'd see just a 0.8% drop. In November, U.S. retail sales fell 1%. However, annual retail sales were up 6% in December from the previous year. Well, Dolly Parton is a beloved member of the Country Music Hall of Fame and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And now she's cooking up something new. Parton has partnered with Duncan Hines to release some fun new baking mixes. They include 2 brownie flavors, caramel turtle and fabulously fudgy, plus a buttermilk biscuit and sweet cornbread mix. These add to the line of her cake mixes and frostings debuted by Duncan Hines last year. Parton says she's excited about the collaboration because baking is steeped into her southern roots. The new baking mixes will cost less than $4, and you can find them on store shelves in the next few weeks. We'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. If you think you're having a bad day, have some sympathy for the Dallas Cowboys place kicker. He's made the history books, but not in a way he would want.
And to make matters worse, it happened at a crucial playoff game between Dallas and Tampa Bay. Jeannie Moose reports.
It's called an extra point, but what made these points extra is that over and over, off to the right, off to the left, they missed.
The most extra points missed by one player in one game, 4.
It was like the worst Groundhog Day ever for Dallas kicker Brett Maher. His own quarterback threw his helmet in frustration after the 3rd miss.
Oh my God.
You've got to be kidding me.
I've never seen anything like it.
Why are we kicking it? Why are we kicking it?
Fans yelled at the TV.
What? Bro, can't nobody believe this.
They added sound effects.
Oh my God.
They compared his kicking to the Three Stooges, a fake joke tweet that was not posted by Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, nevertheless had fans in stitches. If you can kick and are currently in the stadium right now, come on down to the field. We got a jersey for you. Commentators like Peyton Manning wondered.
That's
cut a guy at halftime of a playoff game?
Others speculated about the kicker's next career move. Maybe the only way it could have been worse is if they pulled a Charlie Brown and Lucy on him.
This time I'm gonna kick that football clear to the moon.
The funny thing is that Maher's long field goal kicking has been great, but the piddly extra point flummoxed him until finally, the 5th time's the charm.
And it is good!
He got a standing ovation. Lucky for Maher, Dallas beat Tampa Bay 31-14. Many blamed his performance on the yips.
Yips, yips, yips.
A state of nervous tension affecting an athlete. Never has a kicker been kicked so much when he's down, and never has an extra point felt so pointless.
He might have this record for a long time.
Jeannie Mose, CNN.
It's no good!
New York.
Oh, goodness.
Definitely not something to be remembered for, At least he made that fifth one, though.
Yeah. And, honestly,
And
the pressure's on, but man, that's got to be tough.
Do you ever get the yips?
I'm not a professional athlete or an athlete of any kind, so I can't say I've ever suffered from the yips. At least not yet. Maybe if I get athletic one day, then I can suffer from the yips.
All right.
We are suffering from cold temperatures, though, this morning and breezy conditions. We are at 33 in Joplin right now, feeling like 21 with a west-southwest breeze at 22, gusting to 33. Cold temperatures across the region to start our day. 31 Iola. These really haven't moved a lot this morning. 33 Parsons, 34 Chautauqua in Miami, Neosho Anderson, 33 in Carthage, Nevada, 32 in Lamar. Now let's factor in that gusty wind. I know we don't want to, but we have to. Feels like 20 in Iola, 24 Parsons, 25 Miami, and 21 Neosho and Carthage this morning. So a chilly start for sure. We're looking at highs pushing the upper 30s to lower 40s today. We'll be partly to mostly cloudy with a west breeze at 15 to 20, one of those numbers in there, gusting from 30 to 35. That was the yips just now. That was yips, I think. We're down to 29 tonight, but the good news is the wind calms down, so that's a good thing. And 29, albeit very cold, is actually about normal for this time of year. So we mentioned winter was going to come back at some point. It certainly has. We are partly cloudy as we head into the overnight. Now for the week ahead. We're all right tomorrow, 46, partly cloudy. Then things start to change. We've got some rain chances Saturday. As temperatures drop in the evening, we're not talking a major drop or anything, just traditional dropping down for the low. Could see that transition to a wintry mix, maybe some light snow. That translates into some light snow early Sunday morning, so be cautious for slick spots. Then Monday evening, we see another opportunity for light snow hanging on through the first half of Tuesday as well. So we'll keep an eye on both those systems for you, and you keep an eye on the roads. And then also bear in mind, as we go through the start of next week, temperatures don't get out of the upper 30s. We're back with more right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. President Biden travels to California today to tour the devastation from weeks of heavy rain, strong winds, and flooding. The president will also meet with first responders and local officials to see what additional federal support may be needed. Now, the state's been hit with more than 500 landslides since the new year. Experts say more are likely with the ground saturated from all the rain. 2 Illinois paramedics charged with murder after their patient died will be back in court today. Peggy Finley and Peter Cadigan are accused of strapping Earl Moore face down on a stretcher while taking him to a hospital last month. A 911 caller said Moore was hallucinating due to alcohol withdrawal. The autopsy report listed the 35-year-old's cause of death as homicide caused by compressional and positional asphyxia. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern made a surprise announcement today. She is stepping down next month. The 42-year-old is entering her 6th year in office and says she no longer has the reserve to serve another term. While Ardern was highly popular for her handling of gun violence and the COVID-19 pandemic, she's now facing a tougher political landscape. The next general election will be in October, and it's unclear who will serve as the country's leader until then.
We've got temperatures pushing upper 30s, lower 40s today, partly to mostly cloudy skies. We're also going to be dealing with winds out of the west gusting 30 to 35 miles an hour. Now, the good news is the winds calm down later this evening and overnight, so it won't be as breezy, but we're down to a cold yet seasonable 29 degrees under partly cloudy skies. As we look at the next few days, we're decent tomorrow, 46, partly cloudy. Watching some rain Saturday, transitioning to a wintry mix, maybe some light snow into Sunday morning. And then we watch another round of some light snow Monday night into Tuesday. We'll keep an eye on both those systems for you. You keep an eye on the roads. They'll definitely be slick. And look at temperatures next week, only making it into the upper 30s.
That's pretty close to freezing whenever you have that mix of rain and snow.
It's going to be chilly. Winter is back.
Be safe. Well, we're not trying to be cheesy, but this could be your dream job.
The Sleep Junkie Company is looking for dedicated cheese fans who are willing to eat a variety of the dairy product before they go to sleep. Their goal is to see if cheese affects quality of sleep and nightmares.
Now, the group, who will be called Dairy Dreamers, I like it, will earn $1,000. Participants have to keep up with a nightly cheese snack every day for 3 months.
And if you're fond of sleep, money, and cheese, applications close February the 10th. I do like cheese. I just don't know if I could do it every night for 3 months before I go to bed.
I could.
Plus, do I have to eat a variety of cheese? Because there's some cheese I don't want to touch. Can I eat the same one every night?
No, they want you to eat a variety.
No, I'm not doing it.
Well, let's look into this. Dairy Dreamers. I'm going to look it up.
We'll see if
They're
we can
looking
be.
for
Maybe
a
we
few
can be dairy
Gouda men
dreamers.
and women.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, I love it.
Well, thanks so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.